There's an older lady at my church who pulls up every Sunday in a Jaguar X-Type. Now, she doesn't shake my hand during the sign of peace, so we don't really have any personal connection. And because we don't talk, I can't tell her to dump that old Jaguar for a new one. I'm Clifford Atiyeh with CarGurus, and this is the 2017 Jaguar XE, but I'm not going to talk about it until we first bring up the old X-Type. That was the compact sedan Jaguar sold between 2001 and 2008, and initially it seemed like it was a pretty good deal. That's when Jaguar was owned by Ford, but after the car came out, people realized it was just a gussied up Ford that was very expensive and needed a lot of repairs. Now, 8 years later, Jaguar's given us a true replacement. But can it compete with the BMW 3 Series and the Mercedes C-Class? Stick with us and find out. So today we're driving the diesel Jaguar XE. It's called the 20D. We're in the Prestige trim, so that's one notch down from the top, which is the R Sport. We've basically got almost everything we'd want in a car here. It's pretty loaded up, about $53,000. And under the hood, it's a 2-liter turbo diesel inline 4. You got 180 horsepower and 318 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic, and rear-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is optional on this car, but the rear-wheel drive models deliver even better fuel economy. So we've got EPA estimated 32 city and 42 highway. I've been driving a lot on the highway. I've been seeing over 45 miles to the gallon, so I can attest that that stuff is correct. So if you're not comfortable with diesel, and some people aren't because some of the stations are not available. In my town at home, we don't have any diesel stations, but there's gasoline, of course. So standard engine is a 2-liter turbo 4. That's 240 horsepower and 251 pound-feet of torque. Interestingly, that engine was co-developed with Ford, so you'll still seeing that in a lot of Ford products as well. Also, the other optional engine, which is my favorite, is the 3-liter supercharged V6. That's the same engine that you'll see in the F-Type Coupe, the F-Pace SUV, and basically all other Jaguars. That puts out 340 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque, which is more than enough in a car this size. So there's 4 trim levels on the XE. You got Base, Premium, Prestige, and R Sport. Not all of the configurations are available in all trims. So for example, the diesel is available in every trim. The 6-cylinder is only the top 3 trims, and the 4-cylinder, for example, is only rear-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive. Currently, all XE sedans come with an 8-speed automatic transmission, but a 6-speed manual is coming on the gasoline 4-cylinder models. We won't see that for probably a couple months, if not longer. So the new XE looks a lot like the XF, which is the mid-size Jaguar sedan, and that's a pretty good thing. It's very clean outside. You have the new corporate front grille. And by corporate, I just mean that all of the Jaguar grills are now looking like one entity. You can really identify it. They have those kind of J-style LED lights on the headlights. You got a big open grille, honeycomb style, a lot of air intakes, very clean side profile with lines always going up. It's very rakish. That's the Jaguar look. It's an overall very low and sleek. So when you get on this diesel engine, it is a little sluggish. When you throw it in sport mode, it's better, but it doesn't quite respond like Jaguar's other engines. To meet emissions requirements, the XE has what's called DEF, that's diesel exhaust fluid. Now, that's a tank mounted in the back of the trunk that has a urea and water solution. And what that does is it's sprayed into the exhaust after it reaches the catalytic converters, and it treats a lot of the harmful nitrogen oxides. Now, that was the issue that Volkswagen was having because they didn't fit any of those parts to their cars. When you're filling up the tank, this urea-based solution, you need to fill it up with every oil change. Otherwise, the car will not start. So that's kind of a big deal. So the XE is a bit noisy, especially in the 4-cylinder diesel configuration here, but it does move pretty well. And once the revs settle down, getting off the gas right now, dropping into higher gears, it's pretty quiet. But you do hear some of the lower end vibrations from an engine like this, which you don't get in the V6. The XE is just tuned really nice. Like most Jaguars, right out of the box, it's working great. So the steering, electrically assisted, you get a lot of feedback. The suspension is compliant, yet it's not too soft, it's not too firm. Everything really is just right. You don't have all these multitudes of settings and buttons on the steering wheel to control about 5 or 25 or more different configurations of the car. It just works. You know, when you get into BMW 3 Series, if you don't order the car correctly, right packages, right tires, even some of the right transmission modes, it doesn't feel like a proper 3 Series. You get in the Jaguar, it's right, correct, right out of the box. Similarly, the braking is also really good. You get good pedal feel and really good response. You know, you're not going to be tearing around a racetrack with this car, but it's really sporty and it's very confidence inspiring. That's the same thing that you find in a lot of other Jaguars. They're always tuned to be a little bit more focused toward the driver. So depending on how you're driving, if you just want to be a little bit more aggressive with the throttle, you can just throw the shifter into S mode, sport mode. If you want the steering to feel a little firmer, a little tighter, you can switch this into the checkered flag mode, that's dynamic mode. You can engage both of them together, but they work independently. First off, I'm glad that we're in a light colored car, not something that's dark. It's really difficult to even get a feel for some of these cars when you're just in almost like a black coffin. This is quite nice. You got a two-tone, you got some grays. It's a little bit harder to keep clean, but it's very light and airy in here. That said, there's not as much room in this car because it is a compact car. The swoopy design is quite nice, but these pillars kind of go right towards your head here, and the window switches are up on top here. So there's some ergonomic issues, especially getting in and out of the car. It's a little bit tougher than some competitors, but I suppose Jaguar thinks that's the price you'll pay for looking good. It's still usable, but it's tight in here, and you never really get over that. So the price for some of this style, the swoopy doors and the wraparound dash and the high belt line, which you have right here, is that you can't see as well out of it. So even with the raked glass in the back, especially with those two headrests up, it's a little bit tough. It's a high resolution backup camera, that is quite nice, but it would be nice to just slim down some of these pillars so you could see better. And a lot of that's done for safety and crash structure, but some other cars, like the Honda Accord, for example, retain a really, really open greenhouse, so it's much easier to drive and park. As a compact sedan, the XE is a bit tight. It's really most comfortable for 2 people and a dog in the back seat, because if you put 2 full-size adults back there, their heads are going to be touching the roof. They don't have a ton of elbow room. There's just not a lot of leg room either. Trunk is also a bit tight, but there is a full-size spare tire mounted underneath the cargo floor. Reliability wasn't something the X-Type was known for. It certainly wasn't something Jaguars of the past have been known for. But the 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty with all scheduled maintenance and roadside assistance included during that period. I think that's a pretty good deal. You won't find it anywhere else among the luxury car makers. You know, I think it's necessary, to be honest, with Jaguar, because electronics still are they're an issue. Let's put it that way. When I've been using the infotainment system, sometimes the system just wouldn't respond, or it just would be slow to respond. Sometimes some of the buttons and knobs just kind of stop working for a little while and they come back. So that is a problem. Again, it's new software. They will fix it, but that's why this warranty is probably most important to new buyers, because they know that if these things crop up, they will be fixed. So I don't know about you, but I get kind of bored seeing the same BMW 3 Series and Mercedes C-Classes and the Audi A4s, black, silver, white. I mean, they just roll out everywhere, you know. Great cars, but everyone has one. So what's kind of cool is that you can try something new, this Jaguar, because A, it just looks a lot different, but B, it's a reputable company that's been building sports cars for a long time, so they really have gotten the whole performance down. And that's really what BMW invented, the sports sedan formula, and Jaguar is spot on with that, even in ways that BMW isn't anymore. It's still a very comfortable car, it's very luxurious inside here, but it's fun to drive, and if you're getting a sports sedan, that's really what it should be about. Plus, it's something that you're not going to come down the road here. You're probably not going to see another Jaguar XE just like it 10 minutes from now. So it's a little more unique. The InControl Touch Pro system is really user-friendly, but it's still a bit buggy. Sometimes things lag, other times they don't respond at all. The touchscreen supports swiping gestures and pinch to zoom functionality, plus you can customize the many tiles that show up on the screen. So whether you're in climate control mode, navigation, or audio, the screen is actually split, so the last third of it lets you access other features while you're moving. So if you're in the climate control, for example, you can adjust the stereo or see where you are in your navigation. So in the navigation mode, it shows some of your most recent destinations on the left. And then when you tap right and see the screen, you have a full screen view of the entire map, which also includes satellite and live traffic overlays. The Meridian sound system in our car lets you toggle between 4 different audio modes: regular stereo, Meridian's proprietary surround sound logic, Dolby Pro logic, and DTS. I've driven every new Jaguar out there, and I can confirm the new 2017 XE does look, feel, and drive like a proper Jaguar. Mostly. I'm not really convinced these 4-cylinder engines really do this car justice, since it rides and handles so well. But all of the XE's competitors offer these economy-focused engines, and in our diesel trim, we've been averaging 45 miles to the gallon. But if you order this car with the 6, that's with 340 horsepower, you'll have a real sports sedan that can outgun the BMW 3 Series. So what do you think? Would you go for the established leader in this class, the 3 Series, or would you try your bet on a new contender, the XE? For more details, check out my full review on CarGurus.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more test drive reviews. Thanks for watching.